I never thought I'd be here. I've read enough horror stories on this sub to know that betrayal comes in all shapes and sizes. But never in my wildest dreams did I think my story would involve my wife and the guy who honked outside our house every morning like clockwork. Let me give you the setup. I'm James, 33, married to Vanessa, 31. No kids. Just us and a husky named Rocco. Vanessa works in HR at a mid-sized law firm. I run IT support remotely for a healthcare company. She's always been more social, more polished, the people person between us. I'm more introverted. I like my video games and quiet evenings. She likes cocktails, expensive handbags, and being the loudest voice in the room. We've been together for 8 years. Married for 5. I thought we were good. Not perfect, but good. The weird part is, the problems didn't start with fights or distance. If anything, she got closer. Nicer. Flirty, even. But there was something behind it, something I couldn't name at first. She started using ride shares constantly. It started because her car was in the shop after a minor fender bender. But even after it was fixed, she kept taking the same Uber every morning. Every damn morning. At first, I didn't think anything of it. She said the driver was reliable, on time, didn't talk too much. You know how I hate small talk, she'd say with a smirk. His name's Leo or Leon or something. Nice guy. It became routine. She'd wait by the window, checking her phone. Then, without fail, she'd grab her bag and say, "He's here," before I even heard the horn. And look, I'm not the jealous type. I don't monitor my wife's phone or count the minutes she's gone. But little things started piling up. She started wearing more makeup than usual. Lipstick that she only used for special occasions. Spritzes of perfume at 7 a.m., high heels for a job where she mostly sits at a desk. And the way she said his name, Leo, it shifted. At first, it was neutral. Later, it got warm. Casual. Familiar. I joked about it once. If you like Leo so much, maybe let him take you to dinner too. She laughed a little too hard. Then looked at me and said, "Please. He's just my driver. Don't be weird." Looking back, that moment haunts me. Because I wasn't being weird. I was being right. A couple weeks after that awkward "he's just my driver" moment, Vanessa's phone started blowing up more often. She turned off notification previews. Her lock screen just said "message" or "Uber," ride completed, with timestamps that didn't match when she said she was home. I only noticed that because one night, she came home almost an hour later than usual and said traffic had been insane. Except I got curious and checked the Uber timestamp on her phone when she went to shower. Her trip ended 52 minutes earlier. So, where had she been? I confronted her about it gently. "Hey, your Uber trip showed it ended before you got home last night. Everything okay?" She snapped. Like full-blown hysterical. "Oh my God, are you seriously stalking my ride receipts now? That's insane. You're acting like some insecure little boy." She made me feel like I was the problem. I backed off. Even apologized. Which, yeah, makes me feel sick now. The next day, she said she'd be working late. I asked if she wanted me to pick her up. She said no, Leo already knows where to drop me off if we wrap up late. Wait, we? Who's we? I asked. She blinked. I meant me. Jesus, James. Can I not trip over a word without getting interrogated? And there it was again. The rage, the guilt trip, the gaslighting. That night, she didn't get home until almost midnight. She reeked of some overly sweet cologne I don't wear. Her lipstick was smudged. She said she and some coworkers grabbed a few drinks. When I asked what bar, she got cagey. I barely slept. Something was unraveling, and she was pulling the thread faster than I could catch it. Then came the turning point. A week later, she said she was heading to brunch with her cousin. She wore a tight black dress I hadn't seen before and those damn heels again. Rocco and I were on the porch when she walked outside and climbed into, Leo's car. Except this time, something made me follow. I grabbed my keys, waited a minute, and tailed them. They didn't head toward downtown. They took a left toward the industrial district, then cut through back roads. 20 minutes later, they pulled into an empty parking lot behind a closed diner. And there they sat. Not talking. Just sitting there. Until I saw her lean over and kiss him. Like it was routine. Like it was hers. My mouth went dry. I felt like my heart dropped out of my body. I'd suspected. I'd worried. But seeing her in his car, kissing him like it was the most natural thing in the world, it shattered something in me. I didn't confront her that day. I drove home in silence with Rocco in the back seat, wagging his tail like everything was normal. Everything wasn't. It was the next Saturday that broke me. She told me she was headed to a spa day. Said her friend Jessica got a Groupon deal for massages and facials. I played along. Want me to drop you off? No, I'll Uber. Leo's already nearby, she said, breezing past me like she was running late for an appointment with Jesus himself. There it was again, Leo. Always Leo. I told her to have fun. Kissed her on the cheek. She flinched slightly. I pretended I didn't notice. 10 minutes later, I got in my own car and followed her. I didn't want to be that guy. The one hiding behind intersections, staying 2 cars back, heart punching through his ribs. But I had to know. I had to see it with my own eyes. It didn't take long. She got into his car. Same black Camry. I followed them across town, down into a quiet business district where most of the shops were closed for the weekend. They pulled behind an abandoned print shop. I pulled into the alley across the street and parked with a clear view. The engine was off, but the windows fogged fast. I sat there for a full minute before stepping out of the car. Walked. Slowly. Each footstep weighed 1,000 pounds. They didn't see me approach. Too busy doing whatever they were doing. But the second I got close to the back of the car, I heard it. Moaning. And not just hers. I lost it. I knocked on the window. No answer. I banged harder, 3, 4 times. The rear door cracked open and I saw everything in an instant. My wife. Dress pulled up. Leo with his pants down, frozen like a deer in headlights. James? What the F? She shrieked. Tried to shove him off. He scrambled to zip up, mumbling something about how he didn't know I'd be there. She screamed at him, then at me, like I was the one who ruined something sacred. You followed me? Are you serious? What is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? She was naked in the back of another man's car, screaming at me. I trusted you, I said. My voice was calm. Too calm. I believed you every single time you said it was nothing. She climbed out, fumbling with her dress. James, this isn't what it looks like. That line. That line. I looked her dead in the eyes. It looks exactly like what it is. Leo wouldn't even make eye contact. Coward. Vanessa stormed up to me, red-faced and shaking. You invaded my privacy. You stalked me like a psycho. Are you hearing yourself? I said. You're cheating on your husband in a car. This isn't some Lifetime drama, you made this mess. And then she slapped me. Hard. Across the face. Leo finally got out and tried to step between us, but I backed up, held my hands up. You two deserve each other. Then I walked away. Didn't run. Didn't scream. I left. Because the man I was, the man who forgave her excuses, doubted his own gut, defended her to his friends, that man died in that parking lot. I didn't come home for a few hours after catching her in that car. I drove aimlessly, ended up in a gas station parking lot eating stale chips and trying not to throw up. When I finally did walk through our front door, the silence was deafening. Rocco met me like nothing was wrong, tail wagging. I pet him for a long time. I needed someone to still feel real. She came home an hour later. Didn't knock. Didn't text. Just walked in like she hadn't just destroyed our marriage behind a warehouse. "Can we talk?" she said like she'd just missed a dinner reservation. I didn't even look at her. She sat across from me and crossed her legs like this was a therapy session. "Okay. I screwed up. But you have to understand, I wasn't trying to hurt you. Leo was just a distraction." "A distraction?" I repeated. "Is that what you call it when you're banging your driver in the backseat?" She rolled her eyes. Rolled her eyes. "You don't get it? You've been so emotionally distant lately." I felt invisible. "Right. So you decided to ride your Uber driver. You don't get to talk to me like that," she snapped, suddenly going full banshee mode. "You're not some perfect saint, James. You never see me." "Oh, I saw you today." That shut her up. She stood up, paced, screamed something about how I'd spied on her. Then pivoted to begging, "Please don't tell anyone. We can fix this. We can go to therapy." "No," I said. "What do you mean, no?" "I mean this marriage is over." She looked stunned. Like she didn't think I had it in me. Like I was just supposed to absorb the betrayal, forgive her, and thank her for not doing worse. "I'm filing for divorce," I said. She scoffed. "Fine. Do it. But don't expect me to leave this house until it's official." That was her. All bark, no accountability. But she had no idea who she just woke up inside me. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Not to play games. Not to threaten her. But because I was done. Done with the gaslighting. Done with the lies. Done with pretending my marriage hadn't just turned into a reality show for the emotionally bankrupt. When I told her I'd filed, she laughed. "Please. You're just doing this to scare me. You'll calm down in a few days." I didn't reply. I just handed her a printed copy of the filing notice and walked away. The next few days? Pure chaos. She alternated between hysterical crying, cold silence, and sudden rage. One night she threw a wine glass at the wall and screamed that I was ruining everything. As if I had been the one unzipping pants in a parked car. She told her mom I was abusive and manipulative. Her mom called me sobbing, asking if we could work it out. I sent her a screenshot of Vanessa kissing Leo in the backseat. The phone line went dead. Then came the desperate phase. She tried sleeping in my bed again, just slid in like nothing had happened. I got up and slept on the couch. She followed me, crying into a pillow. "Why are you being so cold? I made a mistake, okay? I didn't love him." "You respected him more than me," I said. "That's worse." She stared at me like I'd slapped her. For once, she had no comeback. The next morning, she packed a few bags and left to clear her head. I didn't ask where she was going. I already knew. A week passed with silence. She didn't call. Didn't text. Didn't come home. And for the first time in years, the house felt calm. I cooked for myself. Took Rocco on long walks. Slept like I hadn't in months. It wasn't joy, not yet, but it was peace. And peace, after betrayal, feels like gold. Then, Saturday night, she showed up. No warning. No text. Just knocked on the door like we were still married and she'd just forgotten her keys. She looked disheveled. Puffy eyes. Hoodie over the dress I'd once complimented her on when we were still in love. "Can we talk?" she asked. I didn't open the door all the way. Just enough to show I was listening, not enough to invite her in. "I made a mistake," she began. I was confused. I was hurt. I thought you didn't care anymore. "Do you rehearse this?" I asked. "Because it sounds like a monologue." She sniffled. "I miss you, James." "No," I said. "You miss the comfort. You miss being forgiven." She paused. "Leo's not who I thought he was." "Neither were you." Silence. Then she tried again. "Can we just start over? Please?" I shook my head. "I already did. Without you." She stepped back, like the words physically hit her. Then, in true Vanessa fashion, she flipped. "Wow. So that's it? I make one mistake and I'm dead to you." I laughed once. Dry. "You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice." Repeatedly. I closed the door. She didn't knock again. Vanessa didn't come back after that night. Not physically. But she tried to claw her way back through texts, emails, even a handwritten letter. The kind that smells like desperation and cheap perfume. I didn't respond. She sent one final message a month later. "I hope you find happiness. I just wish it could have been with me." I stared at it for a while. Then deleted it. Because she was right. I did find happiness. Just not the kind that comes from other people. It was the kind you rebuild brick by brick after someone drops a bomb in the middle of your life. I started going to the gym again. Picked up a hobby, woodworking. Even made a new coffee table out of reclaimed oak, something she used to nag me about never finishing. I finished it. Without her. I reconnected with friends she always claimed didn't like her. Turns out they didn't, they just saw through her long before I did. One of them, Claire, and I started hanging out more. Slowly. Carefully. Nothing rushed. But it felt real. Honest. And I took Rocco to the beach last weekend. He ran in circles, barking at the waves like a maniac, and for the first time in a long time, I laughed. A full, stupid, belly laugh. Not because things were perfect. But because they were mine again. To anyone reading this who's been gaslit, manipulated, or made to feel like the villain in your own story. You're not crazy. You're not unlovable. You're not overreacting. You just loved someone who didn't know how to love you back, and that's not your fault. But you do get to decide what happens next. And you deserve peace. So walk away. Close the door. Heal. You'll be amazed how quiet your soul feels when you're no longer living with a storm. And someday, you'll realize. They didn't just lose someone who loved them. They lost someone who never would have betrayed them. You? You didn't lose. You escaped.